Mafia, are you ready?
He said, "Are you ready?"
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
All right, so welcome to part 2 of Brotherly Love Wrestling with Vic Delicious. And we're going to jump right into a bunch of Twitter questions that Joe put out a question and asked if there was any topics that haven't been touched on ad nauseum with everyone just trying to figure out things to talk about in wrestling. So we got some interesting ones, and we wanted to get Vic's opinion on some of them. First one got me, and I couldn't wait to hear your reaction to this, Vic. And it's from Big Iron Bear. And he asked, wrestlers that Vince and WWE have ruined. He's saying which one of these, in your opinion, if any, you think WWE has ruined?
Okay.
So do you have any off the top of your head?
I mean, other than Braden Walker?
Braden Walker. There's a name I have no idea, Joe. You know that name? Because you look as confused as I do.
Did you see the wheels that turning in there?
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll pop somebody at home who's listening and oh shit, he just said that. That's when Chris Harris went to the WWE.
Okay.
Was on TV. It's Braden Walker. I'm Braden Walker, and I'm going to knock your head off. Some stupid shit like that. No, like what? So do they give a list of like which one of these do you think they read?
They said two of their examples were Vader and Dr. Death.
So we're okay. Yeah, I mean that's off the Brawl for All for the Vice show. That's
yes.
Clearly, like, where the I don't think WWE would have ever had an idea of what to do with Dr. Death ever. And I think that was just like a fantasy world that JR kind of like thought would happen in his mind. Like, in a perfect world, we're going to bring in Dr. Death and he can be on a rocket ship straight to the moon. Mm-hmm. But like when Dr. Death finally got to WWE, he was like just not this, like any kind of like a marketable, charismatic guy to fit into that audience. So like I don't know if they ruined him as much as it wasn't a great fit.
Yeah.
Vader, it's so hard to say they ruined him because it was like there's such memorable shit there, but like the way it like all fizzled out towards the end,
Yeah,
like so like you could say that like if that's your like litmus for ruining somebody, like Yokozuna was ruined. Like look at the way he went out. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep it more current. I'll give you a couple of people that I've heard at least, or at least have read that people think have ruined. Like currently, like WWE and EC3, like someone like that. Like someone who seemed to have all the tangibles, seemed to be, if you're going to look at him, a Vince guy, and he just did nothing with them. He never got – and again, we don't know what happened in the back. We don't know if he had any quote-unquote heat with anybody in the back, but he seemed like he would have been a perfect fit in that system, and he would have flourished. But he was never given the chance. He was made a joke, and he was released.
I'd have to agree with the fact that it was a missed opportunity for that company to do something with a performer who was hungry and motivated and didn't make the most of it. Like I remember we did HOH in Cleveland and he was there and my chair was next to his chair and this dude was like shredded. Like fucking shredded,
Still is.
tan, shredded, cheekbones of a god. I'm like, this dude is about to go take over the world. And then when he got up there, it wasn't. How many variables there that the average fan doesn't really like understand? Like, just like any job, there's like your haters, there's people who are trying to like make sure you don't get the promotion, there's people who point out like, oh, he was out drinking last weekend, or like there's always like your detractors, and there's like things that hold you back, and there's maybe you burn somebody sometime and it comes back to haunt you. Like, you don't know like what those stories are. It sucks that it can't just be the even playing field where talent speaks for itself, but there's just not too many businesses in the world that operate that way. I mean, religion included.
Yeah,
It's
and I
just
think,
like,
yeah, I agree with that. And I think that WWE falls under the largest microscope of, if you're going to say that anyone was ruined, you're going to look at WWE first. But there's been other promotions where guys have gone there and they haven't been what you would say like at their best. Like, I don't know, if you go to TNA back when it was hot, or I don't know, Ring of Honor, WCW, like there's promotions that people didn't live up to be who they wanted. Like, look, the fucking Ultimate Warrior went to WCW and was a complete joke. Bret Hart went to WCW and was a complete joke.
Yeah. Self-sabotage is a motherfucker, man. Like, you just don't know what some people like are up against, or what their mindset is, and like getting sent to NXT, and like you don't know where people's brains are at, and sometimes they can't get out of their own way or see what that opportunity is, or there's a variety of things there, and it sucks that it's not the same for everyone, and not everybody gets that chance to go out there and like, if you fall on your face, you fall on your face, but at least you got the chance. Like, it's not like that, because there's so much promotion and advertising and money that's involved in all of it that it can't be left up to chance. Just like so to survive in that system, I mean, you really have to like you have to know the system first. Like, and that's also a problem that a lot of guys get thrown into a system that they don't know how to navigate. You don't know, like you don't even know you're in the system until you're in the system. It's just like being in the Matrix and not knowing you're in it. You know, it's it's crazy, because if you don't know how that every little thing that you're doing is being watched or judged or used, whether for you or against you, if you don't know that going into the game, you're fucked. Like, you have to know that shit. Like, did I know at 20 years old that there were guys talking shit about what I was eating and catering at WWE? No, I didn't know that. Found out about it. Found out it was held against me, but it was like, can you believe that because I decided to get the fucking baked ziti with my chicken, that they determined that I was like not dedicated to pro wrestling? Well, look, he doesn't have abs, and then he came to catering and ate ziti. Like, fuck that guy. Actually like happened.
That's
like,
insane.
Right. Okay. So like, that's a real thing that like happened all the time, or like to other guys. And I actually had like a serious eating disorder from it, like where I was like couldn't eat around people. Like, I would take my food at shows and things like that and go hide away and eat because I was afraid I would be judged about it. And that's not for like to give like a victim mentality, but what I'm saying is that when you say a guy can be ruined, they can also be their own worst enemy and their own self-sabotager, or there could be people that to do them, and you don't know what the other factors are that come into it. So for fun to be like, yeah, they ruined them, as a guy who this is my life, this is what I wanted to do, it's hard for me to like emotionally just like step back and compartmentalize like that, because it's like your whole life. So
it's not really Vince ruining it. He might have the final say, but there could have been many different steps taken and whatnot that could have led to such and such person not getting what you thought that they should.
Yes, communication goes a long way, and from all aspects, and knowing that system also, and knowing where that communication is important and who you can talk to and maybe who you cannot.
a lot of fans today have been gifted with social media, so they have a small glimpse into what they believe and what they see is the wrestling world behind the scenes, but they take that for granted and think that, okay, I know what this is, so now I know the whole thing. Now I know the whole business. Now I know it because I've heard this from this person. Now I know the business. When we think as fans that, okay, we know what we're talking about now, so anything that happens, we know why it happened. When really, there's still things in wrestling, and there's still a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you're not supposed to know. And there still is, quote unquote, kayfabe behind closed doors that you're not supposed to know. You think that you know, and you might be able to predict some of that, but you don't really know what's going on behind the closed door. You think that you do, and I think that we take that for granted now. That we always think we know what's going on, when really we know part of it, or we think we know a part of it.
Do you know how professional wrestling was started?
I'd imagine it was because hockey players couldn't skate anymore, and they decided to fight each other in a ring.
Okay.
Am I close? I can tell you weren't expecting that.
Really close. You're really close.
There was a lot of different things going on in my mind. I was like, what do I want to pull from?
Pro wrestling started in the carnival, and it was that's why they developed a secret language called Carney, so that way you could communicate with each other, and the fans didn't know what you were saying. Have you ever been to a fair or a carnival and walked down the midway and have the guys bark at you from decide to come play a game or to let them come get your weight or any of that shit? Have you ever met like a real carny?
Yeah.
Okay. They are master manipulators of emotion. Okay. And the professional wrestling business is rooted in the carny business, which is master manipulation. And everything that you see and consume in regards to professional wrestling is orchestrated and fake, whether it be your total divas or your unscripted shows or whatever it is that you think that you're watching that's real. I promise it's not real. So when you have that view of I'm an insider, you know what we allow you to know. So, and that it'll always be the case. You'll never know what's real ever. So you have to take that into understanding when you're looking at the entire business and what it is and how it evolves. Because, everybody the other day was all up in arms about Drake Maverick and then using his firing as fodder for television. Okay. So it sparked a reaction from everybody. It started getting people talking. People were logging on to see it and all that stuff. That was strictly to do what it did. It was designed to do that. It was designed to evoke that emotion. It was designed to make you feel uncomfortable when you were watching it. It was designed for you to go onto Twitter and talk about it and how it made you feel to result in the next part of you watching next week. And I don't really want you guys to like dissect into that because it will take some of the enjoyment away of the product. But you do need to everything you're watching. Everything is real.
I think another good example of that would probably be one of the most talked about events in professional wrestling, period, is the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah. I was there.
Wait, of course you were.
Oh, in Montreal?
Weird, right? Yeah, I was there in Montreal in 1987. My dad took me to the Survivor Series, and
I thought you maybe drove Cornette out of the building.
Nah, man, I was there as a kid. Not as a kid, I guess it was. I was there. Such like a weird run history to be there at like the most scandalous event.
Yeah, you got to see history that will forever live on as the biggest what if in modern wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so like there was a fucking movie camera there filming it. Okay.
Hmm?
Like 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 do you think that accident or like that they just like happened to catch all that? Do you think they mic'd up Bret Hart to go into the meeting because it was like accidents? Like nothing happens there by accident. Like if you've ever walked into a WWE arena, you know from the moment you park your car, like yeah, you're on. So like walking into any of those buildings, like you knew that there were cameras on there, all that shit. So like conveniently, there's a fucking movie there filming it.
Yeah, that Bret Hart has the documentary filming as he's going into Montreal.
Yeah, like it's a really great story, and it's obviously was massively told because we're so tall.
Yeah,
But as
it's
far
one of
as it
those
being legitimate,
very, very big coincidences, or it was all planned.
Hmm.
yeah. You know, I've had some like crazy times where somebody like told me something that was like I thought was like definitely true and real, and I was come to find out that I was like, oh shit, that wasn't real. But like, I don't know, what can I give you as an example? Like
We're sitting
a
here like this.
I was in the locker room once in OVW where Cornette made the claim that Shawn Michaels' back injury was work and that we should all look for the scar. Down his back, there's actually not a scar there, which is super interesting. So, I mean, I've obviously never stood next to Shawn Michaels and be like, yo, show me your fucking scar from the career-ending injury you had. But, you know, it's just interesting that even like a guy like that would make a claim that that was a big work and stuff like that. So like even being in it, you have no idea what's real. And like even little tiny shit on independent shows, these guys work out like how they're going to work people. So like, it's nothing's genuine. Like every conversation you have, like somebody's already like pre-contrived their answer to you when you're at these shows half the time. And like, it's just like a fucked up weird thing to be around. Like if you look at it that way. So
Yeah, it's a different dimension that we live
try
in.
not to think too deep into it. Yeah.
So you mentioned about the Big ZD and being in catering. One of the questions is from Headlock Talk podcast is what is served at catering? I don't know why that's such a big question, but
Yeah.
what is
It's
served?
something
Awesome.
that hasn't been talked about in nauseum.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, me. It's just like a buffet set, and there's like every like there's protein, there's carbs, but like desserts are the thing like is so awesome. There's every kind of cake, every kind of cookie, ice cream, like sundae stations, like it's insane. And
How do they expect you not to eat that?
like I don't know. I guess it was because part of it was I'm sure it was a test, and
Yeah,
part
that's
of
fucked
it
up.
was
If I see ice cream and cookies, I'm eating cookies.
dude.
What the fuck?
It was
Don't judge me for what I want to eat.
and like there was they have so that's like the hot food section, and then they have like a deli meat section where you can make the bread you want, all kinds of cheese and you want, so you can take it and go if you want. They give you to-go boxes at the end if you want to take with you to leave from catering. Like
It's all a big
like,
tease.
it was all just a big word. It's a lot different now. They've reined it in a little from what it used to be, but like back in the day, like you could just like walk in and sit at a table and like anybody would sit with you. And I had such random people sit down and talk to me in catering that it was open access to every star, like the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and like all those guys could just like be walking around in there. And I remember, did I lose you guys? Are you there?
No, you're good. You're good.
We're entranced.
Very first time he farted in my face.
Wait. You broke up. You broke up. You got to start very first time.
The very first. The very first time I met Goldberg, he farted in my face.
I'm so glad we had to repeat that because that's so much better now we know who you said.
Yeah, we were in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I wrestled. I think I wrestled Lance Storm on International Heat or something, and I was sitting in the locker room, and at this time, all of the extras and everybody changed where everyone else did. So I was sitting in the locker room just changing my stuff, and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm untying my boots, and fucking Goldberg walks in with no shirt on, with his fucking trunks on, and just walks right over to where head down and on my boots, and he lifts his leg up and farts right in my face. And I was like, that just fucking really happened to me. I'm how do you even react to that?
Goldberg, get your ass out of my face.
And he laughed as he did it, and and then walked right out of the locker room. Literally came in there just to fart in my face. Yeah. It was interesting.
So we asked you a story about catering, and you give us Goldberg farts in your face.
I could give you 1,000 random stories that lead to stupid shit like that, but the only reason that's profound to me because it was the same night that was there at his taking the home thing, and it was the first time that he'd been back, and it was also the first time that he saw Bischoff, and I remember seeing them have the first interaction. They were mad cool with it. Oh shit, that's crazy! Goldberg and Stone Cold and Bishop are actually cool with each other. Right? And that same night, they did some angle with Goldberg where they were going to break his ankle, and Stone Cold had to show him how to put the chair on the ankle he did with Pillman, and jump off the second rope with it and stuff. And it was in the ring as they were practicing that. And I was one of the ones that put the chair on so they could stomp on your ankle and shit. But I specifically remember that place because catering was on the second floor of the building. So all the other places, the catering is usually on the same floor as where the locker rooms and shit are. But in Wilkes-Barre, you had to go up to the second floor to this super nice restaurant thing for the catering. So Philly's catering is pretty good too. You guys should know that.
Yeah, we have an idea of the cuisine that walks around Philadelphia.
Well, that Wells Fargo Arena has good catering. I've been there a few times. Fucking good.
Yeah, we know how to do it. We know how to feed people. Don't come here if you want to stay down 75 pounds.
Yeah, dude. I don't even know what a Philly cheesesteak would do to my body. It would probably cripple me. It'd be so bad.
Yeah, unless it gives you superpowers at this point,
right? Shit.
Good.
You never know until you try.
So I actually, I was watching the NFL draft Thursday and Friday night, and then I heard the numbers for the ratings, which apparently everyone loves, but
I don't care about them.
I don't either. But 15 million people tuned in to watch the NFL draft, and then on night 2, 8 million people did. And it got me thinking about wrestling and everyone making a big deal about Wednesday Night War and people always posting about NXT getting this, AEW getting that. Do you think that wrestling will get back or get close to what we had as far as viewership in the Monday Night Wars, the insane 3-4 million people? And if so, what did they have to do? Because you're barely seeing 1 million people on Wednesday night. And I mean, I think Raw pulls around 2 million, but it's not the numbers that we used to see. And you think that's just what wrestling is going to be from now on, or do you think it can make a comeback?
If there's one thing I've learned about professional wrestling, it's the cyclical nature of it. And it's observable and statistically provable how it goes through those cycles. And regardless of what the economy does, or regardless of what society does, the business has its peaks and valleys. and we were riding a pretty high peak there for a little while. We had come out of a pretty deep valley, and we were riding a pretty high peak with the development of the Performance Center, NXT, spreading all across the world, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're back down in the valley. What's the best part about being in the valley? Is that you get the peak again. Somebody's going to get hot. Somebody's going to be the thing that attracts the mainstream fan and brings them back into the product. Professional wrestling is such a fantastic form of entertainment because the story is the same in every match. That's good versus evil. And in our society, like we were touching on a little bit before, the development and raising of everyone's consciousness of the amount of fuckery that goes on in the world between politics and all of the other things, and people are becoming aware of those deceptions and those things that are out there now. And the true story of good versus evil is going to come back around. And I think that that's going to be something that is going to be the thing that ultimately is what professional wrestling latches onto, where an ultimate good guy will eliminate the character that stands for the ultimate bad. Because what we're seeing as a society, again, is, I mean, I don't know how closely everyone's paying attention, but there's a lot of like really bad shit that's getting exposed on a daily basis. And to find out that that kind of evil actually even exists in the world is sobering to a lot of people. And it's not just play wrestling storylines there. So it can play out on a much bigger scale. Like Hulk Hogan represented America and Sergeant Slaughter represented Iraq. Wrestling was a really high peak through that connection with society. Hulk Hogan being the amazing good guy through the 80s. I feel like it has the potential to come back to that story, and that somebody rising out of that as the representation of good and evil, and a story that they can tell on a national or worldwide scale.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Like, they always need that one very, very marketable person, or many, depending on what area you're in. You need that, at least that one big name that can scale across all different platforms.
We haven't seen that person yet.
No, we haven't. And
Nope.
And I don't even think we could predict who it is at this point.
Nope. But somebody's going to. It's going to be someone, and someone we don't know who it is yet. But it will be somebody. And you know that because it could be somebody we've already seen, but I have a feeling someone's going to come out of nowhere. That's just going to be like the thing, the thing that changes the game. So we'll see. It's just a fun little way to prophesize, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm almost out of battery. I'm running on low. I don't know if you guys want to pick up without me, or
no, we can. I'm pretty much sure we can end it here for now. Vic, thanks so much for taking the time and talking with us. It's always so much fun to dive in and hear your perspective on everything, because we've sat with you 3 times now. This is the first time on video, but every single time we talk to you, it's a wealth of knowledge, and you completely blow our minds every single time.
You go above and beyond. I know that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We thank you so much for joining us and doing this for us.
Well, it's really nice of you guys to say. I appreciate that you even asked me to come on the show. You guys have been like super, like just awesome when hanging out with me and Hal, or just being like not just fans, but like friends with us. So I think that's really cool that we got a chance to develop like an actual relationship through pro wrestling and know each other and be able to talk on a level, talk like this to anyone. So the fact that I'm even speaking publicly like this is a pretty big step outside my comfort zone right now. And thank you guys for letting me feel cool enough to talk to you that way. And hopefully you don't think I'm totally crazy and you saw some value in what I brought to the table.
Nah. Look at behind me. Do I look like I'm afraid of being
So before we do end, I do want to say, same as the end of last episode, and I'm sure this covers all three of us, including Vic, to thank the healthcare workers, bus drivers, police officers, everybody out there on the front lines that are helping our lives and helping us live somewhat normal lives. It means more than anyone knows, and we thank everybody that does that. So thank you so much for all that as well. So until next time, we hope you enjoyed the episode, and thanks again to Vic Delicious for joining us, and we'll see you soon.